What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode on EI Entertainment Studios, back at it with another debate episode. So, let's get started. Now, for those of you who are returning to my debate videos, thank you so much. You guys know how this is exactly gonna go. If this is your first time, let me go do a very quick, brief explanation of how this goes. So, the two kaijus here are gonna be Shin Legendary Gigan and Godzilla Earth, or known as the anime Godzilla, Godzilla 2017, whatever you want to call it. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go over the main opponent, which in this case is going to be Shin Legendary Gigan. The characteristics, the backstory, everything, so on and so forth, the abilities. And then we're going to skim over Godzilla Earth as well after, and then we're going to get to the main attraction, which is putting these two kaiju's abilities to the test, putting scenarios of them fighting, and see who really is the best champion. Alright, so without further ado, let's begin with Shin Legendary Gigan, and I'm going to go ahead and begin with the backstory of Shin Legendary Gigan. Okay. So Shin Legendary Gigan came to existence when Gigan was defeated by Shin Godzilla. And later on, the small humanoid creatures from Shin Godzilla's tail came down and resurrected Gigan by entering into his body and changing him into Shin Gigan, following 50 years after Shin Gigan was found by Monarch and put to sleep and was rebuilt mechanically, making him into Shin Legendary Gigan. So it's a pretty deep story. Now, the height of Shin Legendary Gigan is 426 meters after the robotic phase. So after he was mechanically built by Monarch is when he is standing at 426 meters. And if you notice, he is quite bigger than Godzilla Earth. But I've said this in a few of my videos, no hate at all to Zilla or Matthew Broderick, but we can say in the title of the film, it did say size does matter, and that movie really proved that size does not matter. It's like a small joke, you could say, but no offense to Zilla fans, I myself love the design of Zilla, so yeah. Okay, anyways, so 426 meters after robotic phase. Abilities. Now for the abilities, I'm going to skim really quickly over the abilities, and then we're going to go over everything else, and then we'll come back to the abilities and we'll do a deep analysis, and I'll explain one by one what each are, so we're all on the same page. I think that's fair enough. Alright, so abilities of this kaiju. We'll start at atomic lasers, I-square lasers, rocket saw chest, grappling teeth, jet fly, and final form. And I forgot to mention this, final form has something to do with Shin Godzilla, and I will get there. This is actually out of all of my debate videos I've been having, this is probably the strongest ability, the strongest ability any kaiju has ever had. So that's interesting. Alright. Now, aggression is no. Shin Legendary Kaiju is not an aggressive creature. His aggression would come from a defensive mode. So he's not a kaiju that would come up to another kaiju and want to pick a fight. Not at all. If you, though, provoke him into a defensive mode, you will be sorry. Alright, that being said, and Territorial, no. Biome is Earth. Alright. That pretty much covers everything on Shin Legendary Gigan's part. Now, as I did promise, let's go back to the abilities and let's discuss them. So, starting off with the first one, this is a self-explanatory one, atomic lasers, right? This comes up from the DNA of Shin Godzilla, as the humanoids are the ones that are, oh yeah, this is pretty much a really big spoiler from Shin Godzilla if you haven't seen it. At the end of the movie, there's these weird, like, humanoid creatures that are, you could be hinting that fifth form of Shin Godzilla are growing from his tail. Now, as I did say with that, those humanoid creatures did resurrect Shin Legendary Gigan, right? So that does put a sense of DNA into Shin Legendary Gigan, which would give him some of the abilities that Shin Godzilla already has, and that would be an atomic laser, which would be a fairy place to say it comes out of its mouth, right? Easy place. Moving on. Now this one is interesting. I square lasers. Now, it does hint I square lasers. Yes, it comes out of the eyes, right? Like the cyborg eyes that Gigan has, right? Any of you have seen Resident Evil? Now, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest follower of Resident Evil, although I love the Umbrella Corporation. I forgot which movie this is from, but in one of the movies, if one of you could tell me, it would be really good. There was a scene where one of the people died by these lasers, like a square laser in a room just comes to him and just cuts him in all like small pieces. Well, that's pretty much what this is. It's like these square lasers with a diameter of 100 meters from top to bottom, just coming towards the opponent. So it's definitely a big advantage for Shin Legendary Gigan, and it's a deadly ability. All right, moving on. So we went atomic lasers, eye square lasers. Now rocket saw chest. So the original Gigan has a saw chest, so it's like a saw from the chest spinning, right? Now, as Monarch has touched around with Shin Legendary Gigan, and so has the humanoids, the new ability that has become, instead of Gigan pulling you towards him to use the chainsaw, what happens now is all of those like points at the saw are actually rockets now. So they're infinite. They are infinite rockets. They keep on recharging and boom, 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 like a machine gun. They're just gonna come at you, which I wouldn't say is too much of a strong ability, especially towards a kaiju. But it could definitely use for humanity, right? All right. Grappling Teeth. This is an interesting one. Now this is going back to Godzilla Final Wars, or Godzilla 2004 if you want to be exact. And if you remember, Gigan, or we could say Final Wars Gigan, had grapples coming out near his chest, I believe, which would grapple Shin Godzilla and pull him towards him to use the saw. Now this is the same concept, right? Exact same concept, but the only difference is those grappling come from his mouth. So he has, let's say, like 100 rows of teeth. All of those come out of his mouth and grapple the kaiju towards him. And they can even choke the kaiju, which I think is an even stronger version of that ability, right? Because the more teeth, the more grappling hooks you have, the more line you have. Alright, so continuing on, we are almost there. Jet Fly. Now, this is a pretty good ability. It's nothing that's gonna hurt anybody, but it's definitely a good ability for Shin Legendary Gigan. So Shin Legendary Gigan can fold himself up to like a jet and fly as fast and like a jet. So yes, Shin Legendary Gigan has the ability to fly. Alright, now moving on. Final Form. Now this is the big ability that I was hyping up about, the strongest ability any kaiju that anyone has ever had in any of my debate videos. Now if you didn't notice, as I said in the beginning, the small humanoids have taken over Shin Legendary Gigan's body and evolved them into Shin Legendary Gigan. Or at that point, Shin Gigan and Monarch touched them and blah blah blah. So what happens when Shin Legendary Gigan uses all his abilities and is still a failure? He just cannot seem to bring his opponent down. What happens? What happens is, let me explain. He goes into something called a panic mode, where it's, if you ever taken a health class, it's a fight or flight. I think it's in the stem of the brain. I'm not exactly sure. It's been a while since I've taken a health class, but I think it's in the brain stem. Is where it's your fight or flight, and pretty much. So don't quote me on that, but It's pretty much that ability. So what happens is the original origins and DNA of Shin Godzilla really kick in into Gigan, and Gigan is actually going to split open, pretty much die. He's gonna split open, and guess who's gonna come out? Shin Godzilla, but he will be in his 10th form. He will be evolving in Shin Legendary Gigan all this time. So yes, I did say that, his 10th form, which that will also lead into another video, which I will talk about later. But he will be into his 10th form, and he will be standing at 900 meters tall. It is the ultimate ability, and it is gifted to Shin Legendary Gigan by Mr. EI. Okay guys, so we'll get more deeper into that as we get into the fight. So let's kind of skim over Godzilla Earth now, so we can get to the main fight. So Godzilla Earth to this date is the biggest kaiju. Well, let's say more exact. Let's just stick with Godzilla. The biggest Godzilla, 300 meters tall, and is currently the newest Godzilla. Yeah. Unless if you want to consider the new Godzilla 2019 Legendary Godzilla a newer version of Godzilla, then I guess that could be an exception. But so yeah, so he says at 300 meters tall, he is of a plant-based origin. So it's very quite interesting Godzilla. I like how Toho has been kind of like playing around with the origins of Godzilla. I think it's really interesting. So let's kind of go over the abilities of Godzilla Earth, and then we'll be on our way to the fight, which is the main thing all of us have been waiting for. So we have a atomic breath, not a surprise. We have super oscillatory wave. We have a plasma cutter. We have metallic tissue. We have regeneration. We have stealth mode, radiation emission, tail, energy conversion. He also has EMP. He can become a Scarlet Godzilla. What that is, it's the best way I can explain it to you is, remember Burning Godzilla versus Destroyer when he went all rage mode? An even better explanation, if you ever played Godzilla Unleashed, or let's say Godzilla Save the... I don't know if it's in Save the Earth, but I know for sure it's in Godzilla Unleashed. And what happens is if you break enough crystals, which it's actually like Godzilla Earth because it's the nanometal, I believe. If you break enough crystals, you go into something called rage mode. So what this rage mode is like you become all strong, it's like fire coming out of you. Well, that's pretty much what Scarlet Godzilla is. That's the ability that Scarlet Godzilla is. And pretty much that pretty much sums up Godzilla Earth. He's very strong, very agile. I mean, for God's sake, he's 20,000 years old. He's quite a grandpa. Alright, but no, seriously, alright. So we're done. So we went over Godzilla Earth really quick. We did a deep analysis of Shin Legendary Gigan. So what can we do now? Well, what we could definitely do is begin the fight. Now, as I said, people who have been watching my debate videos know what's going to happen, but now let me explain what's going to happen now for the new viewers. So what's going to happen is we're going to do two sets of fights. It's going to be a best out of two, right? The best out of two is going to set up a range of a fight that's going to take place far range and a fight that's going to take place close range, right? So when I mean close range, like face to face, like how me and Biolante are right now. Now putting that to perspective, from a far range, we could say these kaijus are about 600, 700 meters apart. Yeah. So on a basis of this fight. So now, as I was saying, let's start off with the far range, because it's the less practical fight out of the two, right? So let's begin. So imagine Shin Legendary Gigan. Oh, I did say far range. So yeah. So start with the far range. So imagine Shin Legendary Gigan and Godzilla Earth standing face to face. Well, not face to face, but yeah, face to face, but 600 meters apart from each other. So, how would these two kaijus battle it out? Now, the first thing that we should analyze is Gigan definitely has an advantage here. And what is that? Well, he can fly. He can fly. So, being especially at a far range standpoint, that could help him out. That could definitely help him out. The abilities, now I can quickly go over the abilities of Shin Legendary Gigan. So quickly I'm gonna say them to kind of refresh your memory, which is gonna be Atomic Laser, I-Square Laser, Rocket Style Chest, Grappling Teeth, Jet Fly, and Final Form. Now, Jet Fly is definitely going to be used, without a doubt. Jet Fly will be used without a single bit of doubt. Now, once he uses Jet Fly, well, he's going to be hovering, at least circling, in front of Shin Godzilla. Now, once he does that, what can he use? What can he use that is going to, let's say, in a sense, put these two kaijus apart? Now, a good ability that I can come up with right now is he can use the Grappling Teeth, right? They're 600 meters apart. The Grappling Teeth are like in his full body. He's a what? He's a 426 meter kaiju. So he has quite amount of line in his body, grappled all around, right? So now putting that into perspective, if he, let's say he's successful and he grapples on Godzilla Earth, he's definitely going to pull him towards him. And once he does that, right? Once he does that, Godzilla Earth is going to be face to face with Shin Legendary Gigan. Now, putting that as a perspective, what is Shin Legendary Gigan going to do? He will use the rocket saw chest and blast Godzilla Earth with his rocket saws. Now, I'm definitely saying it's not gonna be too much of a, a hurting thing, but it's definitely going to cause or maybe inflict a little bit of damage on the part of Godzilla Earth. Now, once he does that, he could also use his I-Square lasers. Now, but let's not forget Godzilla Earth does have a shield. But the only time Godzilla Earth should be able to use his shield is when, and that is only and only when he is on a defensive mode. Well, right now, he's definitely in offense. He's trying to kill Legendary Godzilla to escape from him. He's not gonna sit there and go defensive, especially when Shin Legendary Gigan has him by the neck, right? About to destroy him. The last thing he wants to do is sit back. Because remember, Shin Legendary Gigan opposes all Earth creatures' abilities, for he is the ultimate monster at the moment, having Shin Godzilla's origins in him, especially with that final form. But we will put it in a factor as this. So let's say he gets in the Grappling Teeth, and he's using the rocket saws, right? What can Godzilla Earth do? Now, Godzilla Earth is very strong, so I rarely doubt that he's not gonna get this right. He's going to rip those grappling saws out of Gigan's mouth, or let's say Shin Legendary Gigan's mouth, and will definitely, when he rips it out, it will definitely cause Shin Legendary Gigan some huge damage. Right? So he's gonna rip his mouth open, and I don't doubt that. He's definitely going to rip his mouth open. And what's gonna happen when he does that? When he rips his mouth open, Shin Legendary Gigan is gonna be vulnerable. Actually, very vulnerable to that. Now, putting that, what happens when Shin Legendary Gigan is vulnerable? He will become, or he will initiate, Final Form, which will cause Godzilla Earth to fight a 900 meter 10 form evolution of Shin Godzilla, which is practically unbeatable. So in this case, at the moment, we're gonna end it. Well, not end it. We're gonna stop this fight at a far range 1-0 in favor of Shin Legendary Gigan. But will things change when we get to close range? Now, close range is going to be hinting at, you know, face to face. Face to face, they're going to fight. All right. So, what's going to change? Now, first thing, let's do this. I think this is a good thing to do, and it's going to be, let's cancel some of Shin Legendary Godzilla's abilities that are going to not be able to be used in this fight, right? Okay, so the jet fly is definitely not an option. So let's cancel that. What else can we cancel? We can definitely cancel. We could definitely cancel the jet fly. Yes, the grappling teeth. He doesn't need to grapple Legendary Godzilla. Excuse me. Earth Godzilla. He doesn't need to grapple them. They're face to face. So forget about that ability. Alright? So those two are cancelled out. So what can Shin Legendary Gigan use to defeat Godzilla Earth? So we could go with Atomic Laser, I-Square Laser, Rocket Saw Chest, and Final Form. That's it. So this actually puts a little bit of advantage to Godzilla Earth because he could actually use all of his abilities. So let's kind of go over Godzilla Earth's abilities really quick. So as I said, Atomic Breath, Super Oscillatory Wave, Plasma Cutter, Metallic Tissue, Regeneration, Stealth, Radiation, Tail. But I will almost promise you, at this point, Godzilla Earth will go into Scarlet Godzilla to make sure he finishes off Gigan, or Shin Legendary Gigan. He doesn't want to deal with this crap. He goes into Scarlet Godzilla Rage Mode, and he will definitely... See, this is... I want to point this out. Now listen carefully. He will go into Scarlet Godzilla, which will definitely beat the crap. And I'm not even questioning this. He will beat the crap out of Shin Legendary Gigan. But remember, what did I say? Same thing. When I'm sorry. Moment of silence for Jet Jaguar. We have to do this. Alright. I love Jet Jaguar. Okay, let's continue. What happens when Shin Legendary Gigan goes into panic mode? This is what makes him undefeatable. It's kind of unfair, really, if you ask me, but oh well. Life's not fair. Deal with it. So what happens? He will go into panic mode, or known as Final Form. He will form into the biggest, baddest Shin Godzilla at a 10th evolution. 900 meters tall, and he will definitely obliterate Godzilla Earth, putting him again at another point. And I did say best out of 2. Game point winner, Shin Legendary Gigan. 2-0. Now, it's not over though. If you do want to debate on a different outcome, go for it. By all means, please, I want you guys to debate with me in the comment section below. Maybe if you agree with me or you don't agree with me, let me know. We could have a friendly discussion about it, a debate about it. I'm more than open to it. I love to interact with the viewers. Let me know what you guys think, and most importantly, guys, leave requests. I like to do videos that you viewers request, or even sometimes you guys even make kaijus that I use them in their videos, and I definitely do give shout outs to those people. Full credit to you if you do. And thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and Happy New Year's, everybody. We're almost there, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day, and rest in peace, Jet Jaguar.